Wanna know the secret to making anyone instantly obsessed with you? Is not just about your looks, your money, or even your status. It's a 3-second psychological flirting back that 90% of people get completely wrong, and once you start using it, you'll never struggle to build a deep connection again. Most people think flirting is just about being charming or having the right looks, but they're missing the actual psychological foundation that makes it work. It's not about some cheesy line you saw in a movie or trying to act like a different person to impress someone you like. Instead, it's about understanding human connection at a deeper level and using a small initial signals that trigger genuine interest in others. When you learn how to bridge that gap between awkward silence and true connection, you ain't just flirting, you're building a foundation for something that could actually last. We're gonna dive into the science of what makes someone truly magnetic and why most people keep getting it wrong every single day. Let's break this down together. One of the biggest mistakes everyone makes is thinking that flirting needs to be enhanced, bold, or overly aggressive to get noticed by someone special. In reality, the most effective flirting is actually low stakes and subtle, which makes it feel safe for the other person to respond to you naturally. When you keep things chill, you remove the pressure, and that's exactly where the magic happens because people love feeling comfortable in conversation. Think of it like a game of catch where you're just tossing the ball back and forth, not trying to win a championship with every single word. Once you stop trying to force the interaction, you'll notice that people start opening up to you in ways that they never did before. It's all about shifting your mindset from chasing to attracting. The concept I want you to master today is what psychologists call the highlight effect, which is basically how we subconsciously signal that we're safe and interesting. It sounds complicated, but it's super simple. You just need to focus on active listening and mirroring the energy the other person is putting out. When someone feels heard and seen by you, their brain releases dopamine, which makes them associate you with feeling good and rewarded. This is the secret hack that most people miss because they're too focused on what they're gonna say next. If you stop worrying about your next line and focus entirely on them, you automatically become the most attractive person in the entire room, period. If you're finding these psychological shifts helpful, smash that like button so I know to make more videos like this and hit subscribe. Let's talk about the power of eye contact, which is the most underrated tool in your arsenal when it comes to any kind of a meaningful social interaction. Most people are either too shy to hold a gaze or they stare too long and make it feel super creepy, which is a total disaster. The sweet spot is to hold eye contact for about 30 seconds, look away briefly, and then look back with a small genuine smile. This small movement signals confidence and warmth without crossing the boundary into being intimidating or intense, which is key. By practicing this little dance, you show that you're fully present and that you're not afraid to be vulnerable, which is essentially the bedrock of genuine human attraction. Now, consider the tone of your voice because it carries away more information than the actual words you're choosing to say. If you speak in a monotone way, people will unconsciously tune you out, even if you're saying the most interesting things in the world. Instead, try now vary your pitch and slow down just a little bit, which signals that you're comfortable with yourself and the space. When you project a relaxed and steady energy, you're telling the other person that you're someone they can trust and talk to. There's a subtle psychological cue is incredibly powerful because it helps lower the other person's natural defenses and makes them wanna engage more deeply with you. Body language is another massive piece of this puzzle that most people totally ignore, even though it speaks louder than words. You wanna make sure your posture is open, meaning your arms ain't crossed and your shoulders are relaxed and not hunched up. When you turn your torso toward the person you're talking to, you're subconsciously signaling that they have your full attention. It sounds like such a basic tip, but in our world of phones and distractions, giving someone your full physical presence is a rare and highly attractive trait. It makes the other person feel significant, which is exactly the kind of impression you want to leave if you're trying to build a real connection. What's the one flirting mistake you realized you've been making for way too long? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to hear your stories. Humor is often misunderstood as many people think they need to be a stand-up comedian to flirt effectively, which ain't true. You don't need a million jokes, you just need to be able to find the light side of a situation and show that you're fun. When you can laugh at yourself, you signal that you have high emotional intelligence and that you don't take yourself too seriously. That confidence is incredibly refreshing in a world where everyone is trying to project a perfect polished image of their life. By being authentic and finding the humor in the everyday, you build a bridge of shared joy that makes the other person want to stick around longer. You should also master the art of the positive assumption, which is a psychological trick that changes the entire vibe of your interactions. Instead of assuming someone ain't interested or is busy, act as if they're already your friend and happy to see you. When you enter a conversation with this mindset, your behavior automatically aligns with it, making you appear more approachable and friendly. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy because when you treat people like they're gonna react well, they usually do. There's a simple shift. It stops the anxiety of what if they reject me and lets you focus on just having a great authentic time with another human. Another really effective trick is asking open-ended questions that force the other person to share a bit about their thoughts or feelings. Most people stick to surface-level questions like what do you do for work, which are boring and predictable, leading to dead-end conversations. Try asking something like what's been the highlight of your week so far? Or what's a hobby you wish you had more time for lately? These questions give the person a space to open up and they feel like you're actually interested in their mind. Once they start sharing, you can listen for the emotional cues and respond to those, which is how you build a real deep and lasting connection. Out of all the psychology tracks we covered today, which one do you think is actually a game changer for your dating life? Drop your answer below. Don't underestimate the power of a genuine specific compliment which works way better than just saying someone looks nice today. If you wanna stand out, compliment something that shows you're paying attention to their personality or their choices, not just their appearance. For example, mention something you appreciate about their perspective or a detail about how they handle a situation that you found impressive. This makes the compliment feel personal and meaningful, and it shows that you value them as a whole person, not just for their looks. When people feel seen for who they are, they naturally want to be around you more because that feeling is rare and special. Learning when to create a little bit of distance is just as important as being present, and it's a concept called social pacing. You don't always need to be the one reaching out or keeping the conversation going. Sometimes you should let the other person initiate. This creates a natural rhythm in your interaction and shows that you have your own life and interest, which is very attractive. It prevents you from coming across as needy, which is the biggest turn-off in any potential relationship, whether it's casual or serious. By letting the other person contribute their own energy, you're creating a balanced dynamic that feels much more natural and sustainable over the long term. A big part of building attraction is being able to handle a little bit of playful banter or light teasing without getting defensive. If you can take a joke and dish on back in a kind way, you show that you're secure and confident. Playful banter is basically a secret code for being comfortable enough to push each other a little bit, which creates intimacy. Just make sure your teasing is always light and never about something they're actually sensitive about, because you want to be building them up. When done correctly, this kind of back and forth is one of the most effective ways to build sexual tension and chemistry in a really healthy way. Which one of these tricks are you gonna try first? Drop a comment below. I read every single one. Also, check out my full playlist after watching the video to keep living up your social game. Never be afraid to show your enthusiasm for the things you love because passion is one of the most attractive traits a person can have. When you talk about your hobbies, your work, or your goals with a genuine excitement, you become more vibrant and alive to everyone around you. People are naturally drawn to those who are passionate about their lives because it's contagious and makes them feel more inspired as well. Don't hide the things you're into just because you think they might not be cool enough, because authenticity is always cooler. Being truly you is the best flirting move because it attracts the right people who appreciate you for exactly who you are. As you start practicing these habits, remember that the goal ain't to manipulate anyone. The goal is to become the best version of yourself. When you improve your social skills and your ability to connect, you're enhancing every single relationship you have, not just the romantic ones. You become a better friend, a better listener, and more present person in every area of your life, which is the ultimate reward. So take these tips and start using them in your daily life, and don't get discouraged if you don't see massive changes on day one. It's a process of growth, and every single small step you take helps you get closer to the kind of connections you really want. Finally, the most important part of this entire process is to keep it fun and stop worrying about the final outcome so much. If you approach every interaction with the goal of just making the other person feel a little better, you'll never fail. Flirting is supposed to be a light, enjoyable, and human experience, so make sure you're enjoying the journey just as much as there. If you focus on the quality of the interaction rather than whether it leads to a date, you remove all the unnecessary pressure from your life. Trust yourself, stay curious about others, and remember that you have so much value to offer to every single person you meet today.